Huh. Thomas, you feel a bit funny?
No?
Huh. I'm feeling. Alright, guess it was nothing. Today's story, Thomas, is Mother Holder. Alright. A widow had 2 daughters. One was pretty and industrious, and the other was ugly and lazy. And as the ugly one was her own daughter, she loved her much and the best, and the pretty one was made to do all of the work, and to begrudged all the fuck. And be the drudge of the house. Every day, the poor girl had to sit by a well on the high road and spin until her fingers bled. Now it's once as the spindle was bloodied and she dripped into the well to wash it, but it slipped out of her hand and fell in. Then she began to cry and ran to her stepmother and told her her misfortune. And her stepmother scolded her without mercy and said in her rage, "As you have let the spindle fall in, you must go fetch it out again, bitch." Then the girl went back again to the well, not knowing what to do. And in despair of her heart, she jumped down into that well the same way the spindle had gone. After that, she knew nothing. When she came to herself, she was in a beautiful meadow, and the sun was shining on the flowers that grew around her, and she walked through the meadow until she came to a baker's oven that was full of bread, and the bread called out to her, "Oh, take me out, I shall burn, I am baked enough already." Then she drew near with the baker's pew and took out all the loaves, one after the other, and she went farther on till she came to a tree weighed down with apples, and it called out to her, "Oh, shake me, we apples are all of us ripe." Then she took the tree until the apples fell, or she shook the tree until the apples fell just like rain. She took until there were no more to fall. And when she had gathered them together in a heap, she went on further. At last she came to a little house, and an old woman was peeping out of it. But she But she had such great teeth that the girl was terrified and about to run away, only the old lady called her back. "What are you afraid of, you dumb fuck? I'm a dear child." Oh, never mind. No, that threw me off. "What are you afraid of, my dear child? Come and live with me. And if you do the housework well and orderly, things shall go well with you. You must take great pains to make my bed well and shake it up thoroughly, so that the feathers fly about. And when the world it snows, for I am Mother Holder These Nuts." As the old woman spoke so kindly, the girl took courage, consisted, and went to her work. She did nothing. Oh no, she did everything.
There's two different things.
Yeah, shut up. She did everything to the old lady's satisfaction and shook the bed with such a will that the feathers flew about like snowflakes, and she led a good life. Had never a cross word, but boiled and roast meat every day. When she had lived a long time with Mother Holder These Nuts, she began to feel sad. Not knowing herself that ailed her, at last she began to think she must be homesick. Although, in haste, when it snows, they will say, Mother Holder These Nuts is making her bed. She was 1,000 times better off than at home, where she was, yet she had a great longing to go home. At last, she said to her mistress, "I am homesick, and although I am very well off here, I cannot stay any longer. I must go back to my own home." Mother Hulda These Nuts answered, "It pleases me well that you should wish to go home, and as you have served me faithfully, I will undertake and send you there." She took her by the hand and led her to the large door standing open, and as she was passing through it, there fell upon her heavy shower of gold, and gold hung all about her, so that she was covered with it. "All this is yours because you have been industrious," said Mother Hulda These Nuts, and besides that, she returned to her spindle, the very same one that she dropped in the well, and then the door was shut again, and the girl found herself back again in the world, not far from her mother's house. As she passed through the yard, the cock stood... What? As she passed through the yard, the cock stood on top of the well and cried, "Give me that pussy, bitch!" And as she passed through the yard, the cock stood on the top of the well and cried, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, our golden girl has come home too." Then she went into her mother, and as she had returned covered with gold, she was well received. So the girl related all her history and what had happened to her, and when the mother heard how she came of such great riches, she began to wish that her ugly and idle daughter might have the same good fortune. So she sent her to sit by the well and spin, and in order to make the spindle bloody, she put her hand into the thorn hedge. Then she threw the spindle into the well and jumped in herself. She found herself, like her sister, in the beautiful meadow, and followed the same path in which she came to the baker's oven, and the bread cried, "Oh, take me out, oh, take me out, or I shall burn. I'm quite done already." But the lazy bones answered, "I have no desire to blacken my hands," and went on further. Soon she came to the apple tree, and the apples called out, "Oh, shake me! Oh, shake me! We apples are ripe!" But she answered, "That is very fine. Suppose one of you should fall on my head," and went, bah, bah, bah. I don't know what happened there. And went on further. When she came to Mother Hulda These Nuts' house, she did not feel afraid, as she knew beforehand of her great teeth, and entered into her service at once. The first day she put her hand well to work, and was industrious, and did everything Mother Hulda These Nuts had asked her, because of the gold that she expected. But the second day she began to idle, and the third still more so as the last, so that she would not get up in the mornings. Neither did she make Mother Hulda These Nuts' bed as if she asked to have it made, and did not shake it till the feathers flew. So Mother Hulda These Nuts soon grew tired of her, and gave her warning, at which the lazy things was well pleased, and thought to now the shower of gold was coming. So Mother Hulda These Nuts led her to the door, and she stood in the doorway. Instead of a shower of gold, a great kettle full of pitch was emptied over her. "That is the reward for your service," said Mother Hulda These Nuts, and shut the door. So the lazy girl came home all covered in pitch, and the cock on the top of the well saw her, crying, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, our dirty girl has come home too." And the pitch remained sticking to her fast, and never as long as she lived could she get it off. That's not the end of the story. That can't be the end of the story. That's the end of the story.
It's kind of like Caroline.
I've never seen it, but sure, if it ends with a girl getting covered in pitch for being a lazy fuck, then yeah, just like Caroline.
You've got a movie to watch.
Huh.